he can join us in progress. He hasn't answered me just yet, but just for respect of time, I want to make sure that we could get going. So we can call the meeting to order. One of the first things that I do want to make sure that I call everyone's attention to are our bylaws. I want to make sure that we kind of revisit them. I'm going to put them out there. They are in our meeting documents. I just want to make sure that everyone is kind of up to speed. We do have a number of new members to the DLT this year, so I do want to make sure that everyone's connected with them. They were revised last October as a DLT, so there may be some other revisions that are necessary after your review, but I do want to make sure that everyone gets their eyes on them. So between now and next meeting, if it's okay with everyone, to just kind of give those bylaws another review, and then we can revisit them. The one part of it that I would like to kind of connect with now is around the chairperson for these meetings in past years. Superintendent Domingo, now Chief Domingo, kind of served as the chairperson, but she put it out there to the committee, as I will do now. I'd be happy to continue to do that for you guys if you like, but if there is anyone else that is interested in serving as chairperson, certainly feel free to kind of throw your name in the ring, and then we can certainly go from there. But I'd be happy to do it for the DLT if no one else is interested in doing so. So if we can come to consensus on that, I would be happy to continue to move forward in that role. Okay. Anyone else interested in serving as chairperson? I know it's very exciting to assume that role. Anyone else interested, or are we okay with me moving forward? Okay, getting thumbs up. Okay, good. All right, thanks so much, everyone. So just to kind of share out our agenda for today, today being 9/11, I do want to just take a moment for everyone just to stay in just 1 minute in the space of reflection, and a moment of silence and remembrance of those that unfortunately lost their lives during that time, and for those that are continuing to deal with the aftermath of those events. So if everyone just take a brief moment of silence and reflection, I would appreciate that. Okay, thanks so much, everyone. So let me just share the agenda for today. So I'm going to post up the minutes in a moment. We do have the June minutes. I'm going to have to get some additional clarity on the June minutes, as we do not have the folks that were here during that meeting. I think we only have 3 members of the current DLT that were here in June to actually approve these minutes. So I do want to get additional clarity as to how we can go about getting those approved, given the new constituents that are on the DLT. And Shirley, I'm not sure, I just saw you come off, so maybe you can assist with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether they were here in June or not, they can help. We can come to consensus. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Long as we review the minutes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I will post up the minutes for the most recent meeting in August, and then we can go back. Let me just make sure that the June ones are here as well, for those minutes also. And you will see that in our folder. We did create a folder for today. Make sure we have our minutes from here. Let me go back to our June ones. That was our August meeting. And here are our minutes from June. I will put these into the chat. Just take a moment to review them, folks. And we will go for consensus on approving our June minutes. I will scroll down slowly so everyone can take a look at what we did in June.
I think I was present at the August meeting.
Yeah, so the August one, we're gonna come to next. Wendy, we're gonna look at and try to come to consensus on our June meeting. This is the June meeting date.
So I can't vote on, I'm not gonna vote on this one then, right?
You can come to consensus.
We come to a
yes.
consensus on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, do we have consensus on our June meeting dates?
Yes.
Our June minutes, excuse me.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, good, perfect. And now we're going to shift everyone right into our minutes from our previous meeting, which was last month in August. I will also put these into the chat just for your review. And we will need to come to consensus on these minutes as well. I will scroll on the screen just so that everyone has access to it there too, in the event that you can't open the document. Okay, everyone, do we have consensus on our August meetings? Is there anything that we see there that needs adjustment? Any thumbs up?
Good.
Okay, perfect. All right, great. So we have consensus on our August meeting date minutes. Thank you so much for that. We're going to move on to our agenda. So for today, we're going to be talking a little bit around school CEPs and the feedback that has been provided. The during our last session, as you saw in the minutes, we're going to share our district math plan. So Beth Eaton is here. She's going to talk just briefly around the math plan. She's going to show you a little bit of what it is that has been organized to date and the supports that we intend to provide in mathematics. Then I'm going to talk a little bit around, my 90-day plan in terms of priorities at a glance that we're going to establish and be able to share more widely with the community. And I'm going to share briefly the listening and learning tour presentation that I have in mind, and starting with you guys to give me some feedback on not only the plan and the mindset around it, but also some things for me to think about as I assume this new role as acting superintendent. So there'll also be Gus. We'll be sharing a little bit of information on iPlan, DCIP, and updates for CEPs and DCEP, Queens North High School's report, and then any new business that we need to engage in. So just before we get into the presentations, I would like just take a brief moment if we can. I know we do have some new members here. If all of our DLT members can just hop on just really quickly, just to make sure that everyone knows who is who, that would be great. As I know, not everyone was here during the August meeting, so if we can do just a very brief introduction, that would be great. For those of you who don't know, Mike D'Antona, new acting superintendent for the district. Thank you. Thanks for that, Wendy. Thank you, Eduardo. Mr. Marino, you want to quickly share?
Good morning, Rob Marino representing CSA.
Thanks, Rob. Lamar? Lamar, you there? Oh, there he is.
Sorry, I stepped away for a moment. Good morning, Lamar Hughes, District 25 representative, UFT.
Thanks so much, Lamar. Wendy?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wendy Yu. I'm the current CEC 25 president. First time on DLT. I was on the SLT and still currently on the PT at my daughter's school, which is PS 107. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Shirley?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shirley Abed, Queens High School President's Council President.
DLT extraordinaire. Rachel?
Hi, good morning. Rachel Baltadano, the president of President's Council for District 25, and on the PTA at PSIS 499.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. And Eduardo?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eduardo Duarte. I'm the Family Support Coordinator for Queens North High Schools. This is my first DLT. I've been to SLTs before. I look forward to working with all of you and informing all of you as to what's happening in our District 25 high schools. Congratulations, Dr. D'Antona, on your appointment.
Thank you so much, Eduardo.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much. So just a couple of things, school CEP wise, just so that you know, all of our schools at this point have received feedback from the district office in terms of the current state of their CEPs. And between now and the deadlines, which we can also go over, there's that expectation that those CEPs will be revised based on that feedback to support school improvement across the year. So that I'm excited to say we have been able to provide feedback to all of our schools in that respect. I know Gus will probably be talking a little bit about that when he talks about updates for CEPs and DCEP. So in terms of our district priorities and what I intend to make sure is out there and in public as part of a 90-day plan, I established a little presentation here. It's going to look very similar to how Superintendent DeMango had approached it last year. But I do ask for your feedback, as it is obviously different, new year, new priorities. Although they're similar to last year's priorities, it's going to be this type of presentation that I intend to engage in. And the reason why I'm sharing this with DLT is, one, it gives us a chance to kind of revisit some of the priorities that we've set for District 25, but also as a space of providing me with some feedback around whether or not this particular approach makes sense, if you feel like there's something else I should be thinking about as we roll out this work so that the community is fully aware of what we're trying to get accomplished as a district. So starting always in this space, we're going to talk a little bit around listening and learning tour events and locations that I have in mind, sharing of the district team priorities, and then sharing of the district math plan. I would love to get some feedback from you guys around parent engagement events. Some of you that were able to attend the New York City Reads event that was held in the beginning of the school year just a week ago know that it was a really, really great event, huge turnout, hundreds of families that were there with thousands of books that were given away. It was really super well done. And I thank the team for all that they did to organize that in concert with CEC, Councilmember Ung, and so on, because it was really, really, really great turnout. And I want to get some feedback from you guys around things that we can do throughout the year to really continue that type of track, because it was clear our families were interested. And if they're interested, how do we continue to advance in that space? So I would love to get some feedback from you in that area. Our Strong Roots theme is going to continue. Strong Roots, Strong Schools. It's an expectation that we've set over the past several years, and do plan on continuing that work. Our mission statement will be something that I do want to review with all of you in upcoming meetings. It's in the event that there are things that we want to adjust to either of these tools. We will revisit them at future meetings, and hopefully we can come up with some really strategic changes if necessary moving forward. So I do intend to start off our this listening and learning tour just talking a little bit around our opening. We had a really successful first 2 days of school on Thursday and Friday. Our schools did a great job of welcoming our kids back. We have some images of our kids in school. Certainly, me in there managed to get my face in there with a couple of photos as well. You can see here on the bottom right, we have one of our buildings has a Nemo theme this year. Had this all set up for our kids at the beginning. We had balloon arches, and it was really a great couple of days to open the start of the school year. So I thank all of our building leaders, all of our teachers, support staff for making these days successful. Every single school was visited in District 25 by members of the team on both day 1 and day 2 to support with the opening, and so I appreciate their support in that as well. So I do intend on starting off this listening and learning tour, just going through our who we are. I'm not going to spend time reading all of these things to you guys. I just want you to see what will be shared with our folks across the district. So there'll be just a small spot for our team members to kind of have their own little introduction via photo and just a small little caption of what it is that they do in the district. This was very similar to last year's tool. It'll be followed by the listening and learning tour plan. So this is a little bit different from what it was last year. On the inside of this particular tool, you'll notice that you're going to find me in all kinds of different Bitmojis. Lewis likes putting me in all different spots on this tree. With the mindset from last year was around excellence, equity and diversity, wellness and safety, and engagement and empowerment. And those we want to kind of really be at the center of our STEM, kind of really supporting what we believe in as a school. And the outside parts, you'll notice, are what we're really going to look to get accomplished this year through this lens of multi-tiered systems of support, aligned professional learning, shared and inclusive curriculum, and partnering with the community. Those big buckets are things that we're going to be really attending to as a district as we move forward with the plan. There'll be another document that accompanies this with a little bit more of a description as to what we intend to do inside of each of these 4 spaces. But this is going to be kind of part of my calling card to making sure that everyone's aware of what we believe in this school year in terms of improvement. The listening and learning tour is going to take place in several spaces. In terms of school locations, PS 20, PS 129, PS 164, 184, 185, and 214. And the reason why these locations were identified is because you'll notice that our new leaders are in each of these locations within either their first or second year of being a building principal. And I think it's important that we highlight the work that's happening in those schools, but also give an opportunity for these building leaders to be able to share a little bit about who they are and what they are going to be doing in their own buildings at the same time. So it's kind of a multi-pronged approach of selection for these particular sites. But needless to say, those are the ones that have been identified at this time. I also intend on connecting with our teachers across the district and staff members across the district via a live webinar, which we'll try to do multiple times during the school year to gather feedback from them on our district priorities and focus areas. The first one that we'll be doing will tentatively be scheduled for the 18th of September. That's when I'd like to communicate to all of our teachers in District 25 around the things that are going to be coming up in the near future for them. Starting off stronger, Lewis has actually added my glasses on here. I don't know if anyone took notice of that. I got my new lenses on there. But stronger is kind of the focus this year than comparatively speaking to last year. Last year we said starting off strong. This year we want to get stronger. Our mindset for this, the first part of strong remains the same. It's really around the cycle of learning that we're looking to get accomplished across our district schools. The space of evaluation and studying is really super important for us, as well as responding with action. So moving from a planning stage to a doing stage, then followed by the studying and action is going to be a real big part of our work for getting things stronger in our buildings. I'm a big believer in ongoing learning. And I think every single person in our district needs to kind of assume that space of learning in order for us to reach the goals that we've established this year. Our focus area is going to be very similar as they were last year, K to 3 in that space of learning to read, 3 through 8 in that space of reading to learn is going to be a constant theme for us as a district through the implementation of HMH in grades 3 to 8, K to 8, and for our early childhood schools for K to 2, we're focused on that implementation of Foundations and Hegarty. It's going to be a mindset that we're looking to build across our buildings. Really excited about the work that had already taken place last year. Now it's around sustaining that work during the 23-24 school year. Mind Up is going to be implemented across our buildings. Super excited that many of our schools have already had their kickoff events with Mind Up, and they're all getting started to build those community agreements so that everyone is clear on expectations for social emotional learning across our schools. So where I do want to bring us to is just the instructional shifts. This is going to be part of our work across our district. The right-hand column is the kind of the set of expectations around the science of reading that we're going to be building into the work that we do. And our schools across grade levels will be paying attention to the idea of the systemic explicit phonics instruction. And this includes even our upper elementary school grades and our middle school grades for children that might need it, that haven't had some of those foundational learning experiences, particularly for our English language learners. You know, so while this is a K to 2 type of experience where it's typically spoken about in phonics and phonemic awareness, we still know that our Ls do need some of that support as they learn the English language. So we're going to be connecting with that for our kids as well. Small group differentiated instruction is going to be an important component for our work. Explicit instruction, use of assessment, and making sure that our kids are exposed to real rich content-based reading experiences where they're focused on vocabulary development. It's going to be all part of what you're going to see happening across our district schools during the 23-24 school year. And those are going to all be developed inside of our priority areas. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I've shared these goals with you guys already, but this is what I will be sharing with the community. Priority 1, all around children learning to read well. Our goal is that we improve by a minimum of 5% improvement, focus on disrupting disproportionate outcomes for our kids through the implementation of Hegarty and Foundations and HMH in our earlier grades. This is just kind of an expectation around those 4 areas, those 4 buckets that we talked about around multi-tiered systems of support, aligned professional learning, shared and inclusive curriculum, partnering with the community. We do want to make sure that we continue to build as much as possible activities and events that are going to promote reading across the school year that are district centric. And that's something I would love to get your feedback on as we go through the year, because there's no question that our families are interested in taking advantage of that. So I'd love to partner with you guys on what that could look like moving forward. But just an overarching theme around assessment is going to be something that you'll hear from me quite a bit, and from our schools, just around how are we using assessment data to make good decisions. All of our schools are using Hegarty and Foundations inside of our building, and the training supports that are going to be provided by the district team will be very focused on implementation of Hegarty and Foundations during the year. Priority 2, all students are physically and emotionally safe. We went over this during our last session. A lot of this work will be around implementation of Mind Up, with the goal of reducing those level 3, 4, and 5 infractions. A lot of that pushing and shoving type of scenario that tends to happen during our recess and lunchtime, something that our schools be working really hard on addressing, and providing professional support for our building leaders, teachers, and supports for our kids to make really good choices. This will be followed up by training supports from Mind Up themselves, and supports from our district team, our student services team, as well as Diana, who supports health and wellness across our schools. Will be supporting this work. We do intend to engage our community in a Mind Up type of family kickoff event at some point within the fall, to make sure that everyone's aware of what that means for us as a district community. All students have a high quality academic experience. Again, focus on rollout of HMH, use of strategic MTSS systems to support improved outcomes, focus on small group learning opportunities for our kids through centers, strategic lesson design, and so on. This will be supported in a number of different ways across the year, from principal +1 meetings that we're going to have at the district level, through training from outside supports that we're going to be receiving. We have an ELA implementation lead. We have a UFT teacher center support. So there are a variety of different training opportunities that our kids, our teachers will have opportunities to experience to support outcomes. We are working on right now organizing some additional district events to support and promote reading across the district. And all of our schools will be using Interreading and Interliterature in our schools, along with Passport and Amplify Science. This is our math goal. I'm going to skip by this one just for a moment so that Beth can talk a little bit more around what those supports will look like. Our goal is to really bolster our math work for the space of algebra readiness, improving outcomes by a minimum of 5% across our grade levels, particularly focused on grades 5 through 8. This may even trickle into grades 4 and 3, dependent on departmentalized programs inside of schools, so that we're really targeting the math teachers in our buildings. And the last part that I'm going to discuss at this listening and learning tour is around parent engagement. We do want to make sure that our schools are having multiple events during the year, connecting with HMH, connecting with Mind Up, really building in those opportunities for community engagement, and not just through the lens of workshops, but through the lens of creating opportunities for families to come in, receive resources, and supports at the same time. So the guiding space of this, and this is where I would love to get some of your feedback around the things that you believe District 25 is currently doing well, the areas you believe we need to strengthen, certainly as a district leadership team, and then advice that you would have for me as I assume this new role. While this is for the community at large for the listening and learning tour, would love to kind of lean into this space right now as a district leadership team around the things that you feel like we are doing well currently, things that we need to strengthen and advice that you would have for me as I assume this new role. So if we can just take a moment of pause just to kind of go through these 3 questions. And as we do, we can add them to the chat. You can come off of mute. Things that you believe in District 25 that we're doing really well. Would love to kind of hear from, our DLT members in that area. You want to just take a moment just to kind of collect those thoughts, and I will jot down some of those notes. And there is a feedback tool on the bottom, but I will be happy to take it right from you verbally or in the chat would be great. Any comments? Things that you feel we are doing really well? Mr. Marino, thank you. Using data to formulate policy and interventions. Thank you for that. Transparency and teamwork. Love that. Thank you, Shirley. Establishing a strong sense of community. Thank you for that. Inclusive and transparent with all data. Thank you for that, Wendy. Support the families. Thank you for that, Rachel. Thank you for that, Arifa. And listen, this is an open space for dialogue that I'm hoping to have with everyone this school year is just sharing those things that we're doing pretty well and things that we need to kind of move and improve upon. Lamar always believed that there was and is a clear direction on the vision of the district, focusing on target group to raise assessment scores as an example. Thank you for that, Lamar. I think, one of the things that's made District 25 what it is the openness to kind of receive feedback. And that's something that Chief Domingo kind of instilled and something that I intend to continue to go and grow with moving forward. So the next space of this is areas that we need to focus on and strengthen. And I think I have certainly a list of many for myself, but would love to hear from you any areas that you believe we need to strengthen as a district. You guys love us so much that we're not identifying areas to strengthen. I know that there are certainly many and it don't necessarily have to come up right at the moment, but I encourage you guys to really think through, what that space of strengthening needs to be. And, please feel free to share them with me as we go through, because, that's kind of what we're all about and what I want to continue growing on with you. So any comments? No comments?
I do. I think
Yeah, go ahead, Wendy.
the community events such as the one we just had in the park was awesome, was great. But I think maybe next time we have like a workshop, so that, because everyone was just coming to the park just to get books, and we weren't really able to, the families weren't able to meet some of us. So if we have like an event where, similar to what we just had, but, maybe before we give out the books, some kind of workshop where we, introduce ourselves and explain who we are and how they can contact us, maybe that would be a good idea.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Wendy. Yeah, you know what? I have to tell you, I don't think any of us would have predicted the volume of people that showed up on that day. It was really quite impressive to see how many families were willing to come out, you know, for that welcome back celebration. And I think it's certainly a welcome piece of feedback to consider. How do we organize around that moving forward? And I do have a couple of ideas just in terms of things that I would like to see if we were to do another celebration along those lines, which I will certainly share as we move forward. Need to solidify them first in my head before we can present them, but there are a few things that we have in mind for promoting those kind of big events. And certainly, Wendy, with, you know, sharing in that partnership with you guys in the CEC, would love to talk about that. I know that you guys had already spoken about, you know, possibly organizing around an event, you know, with the CEC and the district. So maybe that can be something that we can talk a little bit more about moving forward.
Yes, definitely. We would love that.
Awesome. Yeah, Lamar, you know what? I think a lot of our work is going to be around learning this year. New curriculum certainly is, you know, offers itself that space of trying to reflect and seeing what's working, what's not working. So we're going to be in that space of reflection as we go through the year. As I agree with you, I think everything that we do as we start off needs that space of learning, and that's what we're going to work towards as a district for sure. Love that. Anyone else? Any other thoughts, things to strengthen? So with some parent engagement and just being mindful of the reflection that needs to happen inside of our learning space. Okay, and then the last part, any advice that you have for me? You got thank you, Arifa. Yeah, no, I only know one way to be, but thank you for that, Beth. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, Wendy. Shut the phone off at 9 p.m. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to learn that art, Lamar. It's funny. My wife was sitting next to me. You know, I have the work phone that's more prominently next to me right at my nightstand. And the first day of assuming the acting role, she turned to me and said, "Is that thing going to go off all night?" All night. I said, "Well, at least today anyway. I don't know what tomorrow will bring." So yeah, I know. Listen, it's hard, but at the same time, there is no time of the day where something might not happen in a school. So while I'll try to be mindful of that, that's not one that I can promise myself.
You'll be up late, I'm telling you.
No, I know. Listen, we had an extreme example where a pipe burst in our building in the middle of the night. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's always that space of needing to be turned on at all times. But I'll try to take that advice. Not going to be successful, but I'll take it. Yeah, Danielle, I will do my best to do that too. So this is the kind of thing that I will be doing for all of our schools as we go through through the first part of the school year, just to make sure that I'm gathering some information from our community. I will let you know something that I'm working on. It is not solidified, but once I throw it in the atmosphere, the reason I throw it in the atmosphere is because that means that I will make sure that I do it. So one of the things that I have been playing around with our team is this idea of a routine connection with the community. It's referred to as Get on the Mic with Dr. Mike. The name of that came from Blair on our team, and it would be around making sure that that I am open to connecting with our teachers, with our parents, with our kids, with our community in the form of some type of digital space where there'll be routine opportunities to connect with me and speak on various topics throughout the year. So I throw it in the atmosphere because I know that once I do, that means that I'm going to make sure that I do it. So it's just an idea that I have and would love to get everyone's perspective on what I can make that look like, to make sure that the district is consistently visible and transparent, but also that we consistently hear from our constituents in a way that's a little bit different from a feedback form, or a little bit different from let's have a meeting where you can talk to me about that, but more in a space of that casual conversation. So we'll look to try to build that in as the year goes on. So the next part of just the last part of our district superintendent's report will be Beth sharing a little bit of the current plan for math professional learning support and the math plan. Beth, you want me to share my screen and scroll down, or do you want to do it from your end? Which would be easier?
I can do it.
You sure?
I can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it says it's that you disabled screen sharing, so you can do it.
Hold on, let's see. Go ahead, you should be able to do it now.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. Okay, good morning, everybody. So nice to see you all. Here to talk a little bit about the math plan for District 25. Super excited that we will be spending some time focused on math this year. As you know, since the pandemic, we haven't seen our math scores bounce back the way that we would like them to be. While we are still ahead of the city in many of the areas in regards to mathematics, we still have work that needs to happen. And so we wanted to take some time to return to what we started a couple of years ago with mathematics and kind of build on the work that was happening when District 25 became an Algebra for All school, which was Algebra for All, if you're not familiar with, was a initiative put forth by Mayor de Blasio, one of the equity and excellence initiatives designed to support our students in really building those habits those mathematical habits that are needed to be algebra ready, right? And the thought behind it is not necessarily that everyone has to take algebra, right, in 8th grade, but we wanted to really provide more of our students access to algebra in 8th grade. And so as a district, I think we've done a great job in really providing more of our students with access to Algebra 1 in 8th grade. However, we still see our students struggling in those algebra classes. And so we want them to really be successful so that when they get to high school, they could just start with geometry and not necessarily have to retake algebra again. So our 2-year plan for mathematics is going to focus on supporting math through mathematics acceleration through a multi-tiered system of supports, right? So how can we help meet our students where they are in mathematics, take those strengths that they have, leverage them, and then use them to succeed in math, right? And so we're going to do so through that MTSS structure again. I know the district spent a lot of time focused on MTSS and literacy this year, so I'm happy to see that we're going to make some connections between what that would look like in mathematics. So again, our vision for math is really built around creating students who are able to, who are ready to thrive as 21st global citizens, right? That they have the mathematics that they need to graduate college and career ready. And we're going to do that again through that stronger roots system that we have in place across all schools. So really helping to empower our teachers, our administrators, all staff that's involved with the knowledge and the skills needed to facilitate instruction that's student-centered, inquiry-based, and builds that fluency from conceptual understanding to empower our students to achieve their full academic potential and thrive in mathematics every day. Our guiding questions are: how can we leverage that MTSS framework in math to help improve the mathematics teaching and learning for our students, and really thinking about how we can support our students within those populations of the historically marginalized subgroups, right? Because we've seen a lot of our students, our L students are struggling, and our Black and Brown students are struggling with mathematics. So our theory of action is that if we unpack, implement, and refine this MTSS system of supports mathematics by really helping everyone develop a common understanding of what it really means to be algebra ready, of what those strong and equitable school-wide practices in mathematics look like, by supporting our staff members with professional learning that's designed to support a deeper understanding of the math content and those best pedagogical practices. I mean, if we continue to implement those common screeners in mathematics and provide some training in what intervention programs best align to the needs of our students. So that's one piece, right, that implementing and refining the MTSS in math. And then we also plan to adopt and implement a district-wide shared mathematics curriculum, right? Similar to what we're doing with literacy. I know that many of the high schools across the city have adopted illustrative mathematics, so they're going with a shared mathematics curriculum. Our idea is that by next year, we should have a shared mathematics curriculum that we will implement. And then in doing so, right, with our MTSS and our shared curriculum, this should help us streamline supports for those school-based staff in implementing best practices in teaching and learning, thus resulting in an increase in the effectiveness of our core instruction and algebra readiness in all students. So the plan for this year includes 4 support components. We'll have administrator professional learning focused around really understanding what that MTSS structure looks like in mathematics. We'll have professional learning for grade level lead teachers in grades 5 through 8, potentially 3 and 4 also, depending upon whether or not schools are departmentalizing. We don't want to overwhelm our elementary school teachers with too much, right? Because many of them are focused on that HMH rollout as well. So our teacher PL series will also focus around how we can leverage that MTSS structure to support algebra readiness in our students. The first 4 sessions really being around focusing on how we can strengthen our core instruction, right? So to meet the needs of all of our students within the classrooms. And then as we have a really strong core instruction, we'll focus more on those interventions that can support for students who are still in need of additional supports. And then also some supports for families. So one of the things that I would like to do is really try to support families in understanding what mathematics looks like these days, right? Because we know that for many families, math looks differently than what we've learned. And so really supporting them in why math has changed, why math instruction hasn't changed, and how they can support their students at home. And then also spend some time celebrating our student mathematicians, right? So I'd like to have some virtual webinars for families, support our parent coordinators in thinking about how they can support families with mathematics, and then hopefully some kind of big celebration towards the end of the year to celebrate our mathematicians. This year, we'll create a couple of lab sites to kind of support us in looking at some of those shared curriculums we might be interested in adopting, one being illustrative mathematics, the other being Amplify Math. Both of these should be core curriculums next year, and I know that Amplify aligns well with illustrative. So they're similar but have some differences. And then for our second year, of the rollout, once we've decided on a shared curriculum that we'll be using, we'll really delve into that professional learning around the curriculum, unpacking that, supporting our teachers and administrators with that. Again, then we'll start to onboard, our K-4 teachers with that work. So going through that same professional learning series that we would be doing with grades 5 through 8 this year. Lab sites then for our second year will really be around implementing the shared curriculum, understanding it, thinking about which practices work best and ways that we can tweak and improve. Support again would be for families would be around developing an understanding of algebraic thinking. What does that look like in our students across the grades, right? Because we start with algebraic thinking even as early as pre-K. And then for us, some capacity building for the district as itself is to have monthly math meetings, there's monthly math meetings that the city holds. And so our attendance would be at those to ensure that there's coherence between the work that we're doing and what the city-wide expectations are. We'll attend coaching sessions provided by, currently there's Illustrative Mathematics is providing coaching sessions for schools using IM. So we'll attend that just in case that might be one of the curriculums that we wind up adopting. And we'll attend meetings with vendors for the curriculums that we're reviewing. Our assessment plan for the year is to continue with those district screeners that we've been using. We've been using iReady in K through 8 and then Map Growth in Algebra 1 courses. And this really helps the district to kind of see how our schools are doing, think about our plan, whether it's working, make some revisions if needed as we move forward. And then within the schools, there'll be some, the formative assessments should continue to be those curriculum unit assessments. And I'd also like to think about maybe a district performance task that's given repeatedly throughout the school year. This fall, wanted to spend some time putting together a district math leadership team to support in thinking about the continued development of this plan and implementing the plan. Also thinking about what algebra readiness looks like, how we define that as a district. We'll begin our professional learning, and we've had some talk around hiring perhaps a coach from an outside organization to support this work. Within the community, we'll have those ongoing intervisitations or the learning tours that Dr. Mike talked about, focus around mathematics as well. Schools should be, again, sharing this plan at their SLT meetings with the PTA. And then, let's see, what else can I share? There's kind of like a map out of how we'll kind of choose our shared curriculum as well.
I think that's
anything I'm missing?
I think that's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Beth, just so the space of this math plan, as you notice, is in draft form. So this is a space of ongoing learning. The one thing that will be consistent across this plan is really growing around the expectations in math, that we're really looking very carefully at the learning experiences of our kids, the practices in our classrooms, so that we're supporting our learners the best way that we can to ensure they have access to the curriculum. So this is something that will continue to evolve and adjust as we receive feedback from certainly you guys as a DLT, from our principals, assistant principals, and so on. The big overarching theme, though, is certainly around MTSS and how we're utilizing what we know is good practice in terms of routines, task work, the equitable practices that Beth was speaking about, to ensure that our kids have access to content, especially by the 8th grade, to be Regents ready. So that's going to be the large part of it. The longer part of that work are all the other things when we're talking about curriculum, which will be something that we talk about further with our building leaders over time. It is kind of the mapped out plan for over the course of 2 years. So you guys will have access to looking over that plan and that mindset. It is in the Google presentation that we shared earlier. I do encourage you to take a look at what is in there, certainly part of the listening and learning tour, but also from the standpoint of what we're thinking about in math, so that we can then go ahead and move that forward into having conversations with our building leaders, as we move through this year and into next. Any questions for us or in regards to the mindset around math? Go ahead, Monique.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, I think my Zoom needs an update, so I can't get my video started, but good morning, everyone. I just have a question regarding the parent coordinators, the professional learning, and what does that look like? And what does their role look like in this as far as supporting families?
So any of the things that we're rolling out, whether it's Mind Up, whether it's HMH, or it is going to be around supporting math, will be connected to professional learning that we have on a monthly basis during our parent coordinator meetings. As you know, Monique, we have them on a monthly. So part of what the mindset is for us is in the space of planning and doing. So part of those meetings will be dedicated to kind of seeing what a plan can look like for an individual school, but then being able to take that plan and then execute it back at the school level, where we're connecting with our community around the things that are important and aligned with district expectations, i.e. rollout of new curriculum for HMH, math supports that our schools and parents could benefit from, will all be coming from us to support our FSL and FLC. I always mix those up. FSL and FLC who, as you know, support our training for parent coordinators.
Okay, so just wanting to make sure, so this would be more for informational purposes so that they're aware of the programs that are coming into school that the students will be learning. And then as far as resources, should they always be guided back to the classroom teacher or the administrator who's heading up that specific program? Like, how does that look like when you say family night?
So nothing should be in isolation, Monique. None of the work should be done in isolation. All of this is work that should be done collaboratively, from things that we're kind of laying out in terms of expectations from the district to the work with their building leaders, so that it is supported in the best way possible for our families and kids. That very well may be in the form of an informational space. It may be in the form of an ELA family night type of thing, or a reading night where parent coordinators are connecting with teachers and building leaders in the school to establish a really nice event for families. So it's going to assume variety of different forms based on what it is that the intent is of the experience for our families. So
Okay.
Informational nights are great, but from my standpoint, oftentimes informational nights wind up receiving the fewest number of attendees. It's informational nights combined with something that is connected with their kids often brings the most families to those things, and that's what I would charge our parent coordinators to assist in organizing.
Dr.
Right,
Mike,
so
if I can add something. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying anything about like having an informational night. I was saying as far as with the professional learning for parent coordinators, is that geared more towards providing them more information about these programs so that they're aware of what's going on within the school community, as far as, the Mind Up,
Yeah,
the HMH,
of
things
course.
like that.
Listen, Monique,
Right.
the reality is we're not going to ask our parent coordinators to become experts at facilitation of HMH or experts of how to facilitate, a math lesson. It's really to make sure that our families have access. And then how do we use the resources that are within our own school to support those a little bit more in depth. So yeah, so part of it is going to be around them getting information. Other things will be around strategies around connecting to community in a different way. And there are some tools that they will see that are actually quite good that we've gathered from recent meetings that will be supportive of families of a kindergarten student, first grade student, that you don't necessarily need to be an expert in a program as much as it is, I can share this with you and you can try this at home.
Dr. Mike, if I could add something.
Yeah, go.
I also want to mention the majority of the schools in District 25 are Title I. So all Title I schools have to hold a meeting for parents, which is focused on Title I, but it's really focused on instruction and the coordination of Title I funds with other school initiatives. So during that meeting, parents, it's usually the principal or the assistant principal are in charge of that meeting, and they will explain the new initiatives and how they relate to the other support programs in the building. In addition, the parents have what's called a PAC, Parent Advisory Council, which is supposed to meet monthly and also coordinates with the parent coordinators in the school buildings. So those meetings as well could have a point of discussion of these new initiatives and how they relate to school improvement as a whole.
Thank you, Gus.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes. And I just wanted to, I'm sorry, last question about the family nights, reading nights. I know the PCs in District 25 do an amazing job of putting together wonderful events for families and for their school communities. So my question would be just making sure and asking that there's support around these events. Many times, DC 37 members are coordinators sitting with that title, and times where responsibilities such as these, and so just make sure that stress that exactly what you said, that it is a collaborative working process, and that it comes from everyone in the building. And the support should come from everywhere. So just making sure that it's just not something that it's a PC responsibility, but that it's a community responsibility.
Yeah, certainly always collaborative space, Monique, and that's kind of what we believe in. So yeah, I hear you. Thank you for that. Any other comments? Okay, and the last thing that I want to say before I turn this over to Gus is that I do want to make sure, just even in this recording of the DLT, is just to acknowledge Chief Domingo and all of the work that she has done for District 25 and wish her well in her new role. I didn't want to have this meeting pass where I at least made sure that I acknowledged all of the work that she has done for District 25. As we move into this new space of learning this year. So just wanted to be able to close with that and express the appreciation for all the work that she's done here in District 25. So I'm going to turn this over to Gus to share his report.
Yes, I have a large number of items, ladies and gentlemen. All of you have received the documents that I'm going to talk about, and some that I'm not really going to show. They're on the district website and they can be accessed. And in fact, I would strongly encourage you all to access them. By the way, my name is Gus Hadjidemetriou. For those of you who are new, I'm the Director of State and Federal Education Policy Implementation. I represent Central on all of the DLTs in Queens North. Now, I'm delighted to be here again. This is my 20th year supporting District 25. So I have longevity and a knowledge and experience of the changes of the district over time and certainly under Superintendent DeMango, the this district rose to become one of the first and best districts in the city. You're always in the top, I would say 5, Mike, pretty much in the city of New York, and you should be very proud of that. Also, you're a district in good standing as far as state accountability is concerned. All of your schools are not in an improvement status, something which, again, you should be very proud of and has evolved over time. With that being said, I'm going to launch into my routine items. First, 2 updates. CEPs. As you've already been told, the district, the team, which always does everything on time, which is another thing that you should be proud of, they already have provided all of the schools with feedback on iPlan on their CEPs. The deadline and the timeline, which we gave out in June, and I could send it out again, to my knowledge, has not changed. All schools are supposed to complete their CEPs by October 27th and upload them into iPlan. They have until November 17th to give them a little bit more time to upload their signature pages. That's just in case you have some elections for UFT or parent representatives to put into place. And then superintendents are supposed to certify and finalize the CEPs by November 30th. Central follows this quite closely and issues, as the superintendent's team know, lists of districts who have done things and are 100% complete, and any schools that are not complete. And you have been among the first in the city to get everything completed, and I expect that everything will take place exactly that way. Again, my role is always to support any school that needs assistance 24/7 in terms of their CEP and specifically iPlan. We have a lot of new principals, and a lot of those principals and even some of the ones in place add to their school leadership teams, and I get involved in making sure that everyone has access to iPlan. By the way, one thing that I ask the superintendent's office to do is you have some new DLT members. So I would like a new list of everybody's role and everybody's email, so I can make sure that Central has them all put into iPlan, so all of you have access to what you need to have access in terms of the iPlan portal. And I'll take care of that. And if any of you have any difficulty accessing iPlan, just let the district office know, and they will contact me, and then we'll follow up and find out why, and correct any technical issue that comes up. So that's basically it on the CEP. Related to the CEP is, as those of you who have been on the DLT for some time know, we always, during the first couple of months of the academic year, put together SLT training for the schools. And we've been doing that virtually. That can continue to be virtual. I've done it both ways over 20 years, both virtually and in person. It's up to you how you want to handle it. On one of my agenda items, there's something new in iPlan related to SLTs, which I'll talk about in a moment, which makes this training even more important. So we're going to organize, as we always do, a district-wide training. If any schools in the meantime need any individualized training or groups of schools, we can do that as well. I'm always available to support the district team on that. It's just a scheduling issue as far as I'm concerned. You just have to let me know so I can make sure that I'm not committed elsewhere and we'll get that done. So that's as far as CEPs are concerned. As far as the district comprehensive education plan, you have a draft document already in iPlan. I keep asking when we will review it and give you feedback on it and finalize it. What I was told at the last meeting that I attended, which was last Wednesday, is that the district superintendents are going to receive an email updating you on the procedures for the district comprehensive education plan. Obviously, the old timeline that we had is going to change. I don't know what the new timeline is going to be. And we all, have to basically wait for that email to come through. Other routine items, which we always do in the first and second meeting of the academic year, is all DLT should take a look at the state regulations, chancellor's regulations A655, which you have a copy of. I'm not going to go over them. It lists the roles of the DLTs and the DLT members, and also has the information there about the requirements for school leadership teams. If the group wants to go over them in the future, we can go over them. I know that Shirley Orban is on the revision committee, which has been going on for at least a year because the regulations are quite dated at this point, and I personally have made some recommendations on updating them myself. So hopefully that'll get done this academic year. But until that's done, we have that still in place, the old ones, and they should be reviewed, which is what you have. Also, the other item that you should put on the next agenda probably is to review your bylaws. Every DLT has bylaws, and the DLT should review the bylaws and see whether you want to make any changes. You don't have to make any changes. It's just routine, again, to show that you've looked at them and you've decided to make no changes. If some members want to make changes, then you should revise them. And I know that you also post them, I think, on the district website. You have a very robust district website. And I'm actually jealous when I see your PowerPoints with all of the pictures and graphics and so on. I don't get that high-level graphics and pictures from the PowerPoints that I get from Central. We don't have a Louis Latino to do this, as far as I know. So you'll be seeing some of those in a moment. So A655, bylaws are routine. Also on the agenda is reviewing your district parent engagement policy. The current policy is in your draft of in iPlan with the DCEP. If there are going to be any changes to it, then we can swap it out before the DCEP gets finalized. But one of the forthcoming meetings, you should take a look at that, and that gets distributed to all of the schools, again, routinely every academic year. So those are the routine items that I had on my agenda. I have some two other items, which again, one is sort of seasonal, the other one is new. So any questions on anything I've said so far, ladies and gentlemen? If not, then I'll move on. Let me share my screen, and I'll begin with the draft overview of the DCIP, and I'll explain what that's all about in a moment. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Gus, just not the actual document that you're looking to open.
Can you see it now?
See your desktop.
Can you see the document?
Yep, now it's up.
Okay, great. Okay, let me explain what the DCIP is. DCIP stands for District Comprehensive Improvement Plan. It is a citywide document. It is about 50 pages, and it is in draft form. What we do is, because it's in draft form, let me explain the purpose of it. The purpose of it is the city explains to the state, and through the state, the federal government, what their improvement plan is for all schools in the city of New York, all public schools in the city of New York. Now, as I said earlier, District 25 is one of a handful of districts that is in good standing. We have the majority in Queens North in the city of New York. Again, that's something I'm very proud of. We only have one district in Queens North that's not in good standing. All of the other districts are, including District 25. So this relates to you in a general way. It relates more specifically to schools that are in improvement status that might be what's called TSI and CSI, comprehensive improvement schools, and targeted schools, and some other statuses that the state has come up with. Now, just as a reminder, the state has not released the standardized test scores yet. We expect that it'll be some time before we see those scores. And then sometime after that, ladies and gentlemen, they will do new identifications of schools that need improvement. I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic that none of them will be in District 25, but that remains to be seen. But right now, we don't have any improvement schools in the district. So how is this useful to you? This overview contains key priorities and initiatives that Central is putting into all schools for improvement. So in looking at your DCP and working on the feedback and the revisions, you should take a look at what the city is saying that they're putting into all schools for improvement, and make sure that if they relate to you, that they are also included in your DCEP. Now, I mentioned that this is a summary, which I've given you for the 50-page document. I'm not allowed to give out the 50-page document. This is routine because it's sent to the state in draft form and it changes. But the state and District 25 and the city very much want to hear from our constituency groups, especially parent input and members of DLTs, if they have any comments on the document. So the way that has been operated and implemented over a number of years is I'm going to leave a district office copy of the actual paper document with the district office. And it's going to be marked not for duplication or circulation. Any DLT member, and this is only for DLT members, who wishes to review the document and give us some comments, can come to the district office and review it there. You're not allowed to take it home or make Xerox copies or anything. Provide that information to the superintendent's office. They will then give it to me and I will pass that on to Central. But in the meantime, you have this outline, which gives you the content of the document. And the state wants to make sure that all DLTs citywide have been consulted on the contents of this improvement plan. And so they ask that you give us your signature on a document indicating that you've been consulted. Doesn't mean that you approve of the plan. The signature is not an approval signature. It's a consultation signature. It means that someone has talked to you about it and you've had an opportunity to look at it both in the overview and if you wish to come to the district office. That's all that signature means. Since we're still doing DLTs remotely in District 25, I'm going to send out a DocuSign email to all DLT members, which is another reason why I need the emails and the information for any new members. And that DocuSign is a electronic signature on your part that you have been consulted on the DCIP. So the way it's organized, ladies and gentlemen, comes no surprise to you, is according to the Chancellor's priorities, just like the DCEP is. Most citywide, if not all of them, documents nowadays are organized around Chancellor's priorities. So you know these priorities, and Dr. Mike has already talked to you about the initiatives that relate directly to these priorities. For example, the first one is all students learn to read well. That's the priority citywide for literacy. And within that, for this academic year, the city is saying that key priorities, and you have copies of this, implement with fidelity a high quality curriculum for all students, develop a school-wide assessment plan that incorporates screening, secondary diagnostics, and progress monitoring, incorporate evidence and research-based intervention to meet unique student needs, implement NYC Reads initiative. So I'm not going to go through all of the bullets. I'm just going to go through the priorities in each piece. What I would encourage you to do is to read through the overview, other sections. If you have any comments or questions, give them to email them to the district office, and I will do my best to get you an answer to anything that you ask. And then there are citywide goals here. Just like you have your district goals, by June 2024, these are the goals citywide. And you should see how your District 25 goal relates to these goals as well. Then the next initiative is all students are physically and emotionally safe. So here they don't have priorities, I see. They have key strategies below, but the citywide goals for keeping students physically and emotionally safe is that there should be a decrease of the number of student incidents involving physical aggression, level 4 and 5 incidents citywide. Under school culture, existing RJ schools will move up one tier based on RJ tiered implementation model. School wellness programs increase the number of students in non-District 75 schools that are fully programmed to meet NYSED PAP course requirements. Community schools. You don't have any community schools in District 25. And then there are some bullets here about key initiatives, etc. What occurs to me, and I'm going to already take that back to Central, is that when they use these abbreviations, RJ, they should write out what each one means whenever they're used, because people outside of the DOE and even some of us inside the DOE aren't sure exactly what they mean by these acronyms. So that's the first piece of input I personally am going to give them, because you're the first district that I'm presenting this document to. So I've read through it, but I haven't had an opportunity to speak to others about it. Next one is all students have a high quality academic experience. Key strategies: strengthening core instruction across New York City public schools, improving literacy and mathematics across all grades for all students. And you just heard an excellent presentation and overview about the District 25 Mathematics Initiative and how you're implementing it. Investing in and developing high quality educators, implementation of an intervention program, monitoring system to gauge student progress towards meeting grade level reading outcomes. That is really relates directly to your MTSS section in your DCEP. Community-based CBO partnerships to develop and evaluate key policies to support ML, ELL students and families. And I've actually spoken to the superintendent about a grant that St. John's University has related to family literacy related to MLLs. And hopefully that partnership will be put into place. And so there's one partnership there that is specific to your district. In your DCEP, you mentioned your other partnerships. Professional development for schools and school leaders on the implementation of priorities. So again, I'm not going to go over every word, or else I would take up your entire meeting. All students graduate college and career ready and have a strong plan and pathway to economic security. I was told by Central that there's new stuff in this particular one. So if you remember this from last year, this particular one, they tell me has new information in it. So these efforts are Head Start with dual enrollment courses with CUNY, a strong plan, professional learning, school staff, credentialing to build capacity for college and career advising, computer skills, etc. Real skills, work to expand access for computer science, digital and financial literacy curriculum, and skill building, public progress monitoring, and school quality measures for college and career readiness. You have citywide goals and some other information here, and I see one that's parent or oriented. I know that Superintendent Mike is particularly interested in building career related partnerships. We've talked about some ideas that he has. I hope I'm not revealing things that you didn't want in terms of aerospace and aeronautics and STEM. So the district already has some of these in place, and I think that there'll be some expansions going forward in this academic year.
So Gus, we'll talk further on that one as a district team over time. I was really just speaking with Gus around possible grant opportunities that are out there. Gus happens to be someone who connects with grants frequently, and there are some that do that are part of certain foundations that would offer STEM-based opportunities. So there's nothing in stone there. That was just more just having conversation back and forth around opportunities that may exist for our district.
But your superintendent is already thinking ahead and in terms of innovation. So that was a positive aspect that I wanted to just highlight in terms of the new academic year. So all districts and schools are more inclusive and responsive to parents. This is the family and community support piece, and you can see the goals here. Distribution of district-wide summaries, CECs, citywide councils, engagement in related conversations to discuss data, something that you already do. Policies and practices reflect feedback and recommendations gathered from communities. That's these town halls and visits that all superintendents and Dr. Mike has already mentioned. Improvements in family survey results indicating improved satisfaction with the NYC DOE. That's the survey that comes out every year. And all of these initiatives are inclusive of high schools, by the way. So they're not just for community schools. They're also high school related as well. So the 50 some odd page document will be left in the district office. If any of you want to review it, it'll be available to you as of this afternoon. Any questions on this? And then I'll move on to, well, the DocuSign piece that relates to this. I have a brief PowerPoint on what DocuSign is and what it looks like. Dr. Mike, do you think I should go over DocuSign, or is
No,
this
I don't
everybody
think, I
familiar
don't
with
think
it?
so. I don't think so, Gus.
Most
I mean,
people
we
have
can
seen it
certainly,
already.
we
Yeah.
can certainly share the DocuSign with everyone. If there are any questions, we can certainly assist with that part of it.
Yeah,
I
you
don't think
have
it's
the
necessary.
PowerPoint, ladies and gentlemen, so you could look at it. Let me now move on to something new, which is this document here. And this is a working draft, ladies and gentlemen. So I was told I could share this with DLTs. The principals do not know about this aspect yet. So please don't discuss it with principals yet, because it will be in Principals Digest, I was told, shortly, but they haven't received it yet, and they don't know about this new technology-based initiative. Let me explain. Every year we give out suggested school leadership team actions or activities on a monthly basis. And that document SLTs find useful so they know what they should be doing every month. We also have a similar document for district leadership teams that goes out every year. So this year, I don't have the documents in the format that we've seen them before. What I have is this, and the reason for it is the following. Central knows that the state and through the state, the federal government reviews school leadership teams, particularly for Title I schools. And they review parent engagement, they review the set aside, they review the CEP development, they review STH, which stands for Students in Temporary Housing Initiatives, a whole bunch of stuff. When they reviewed this last academic year, we had to contact, including schools in District 25, individually and collect this information. What do I mean by that? I mean, for example, agendas and sign-in sheets and any handouts for SLT meetings. So it was decided at Central to make the collection of this information more 21st century. So they created what's called a tile. If you look at the CEP on iPlan, the CEP is organized around what they call these boxes, and they call them tiles. And when you click on it, it opens up and gives you the content. So they're going to have a tile for school leadership team meetings and school leadership team information in general. And in it is going to have a calendar, and every month it's going to have what SLTs should be doing. And you have a copy of this. And again, it's draft. For example, now this month of September, they should be reviewing A655, just like the DLT does, and they should discuss the importance of maintaining fully informed functional SLT, which means, you know, they go over the roles and responsibilities. And they should be reviewing their bylaws, something that I just mentioned for you, establishing school-wide SLT communications and channels of support, conducting a needs assessment. In other words, looking at your CEP, reviewing the feedback, the education plan. And then there are all of these highlighted text, as you know now, being more computer savvy than probably I am. Is they
So-
they click onto different things. Yes,
So, yeah, so Gus, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot in here over September,
Right.
October, and so on through. So
I'm
you
not
know,
going to
this-
go through every one.
Okay, yeah,
I just
yeah.
wanted to get down to the last box.
Yep.
If you look at the last box, this is the new element, ladies and gentlemen. So every school is going to be uploading its SLT meetings documentation into iPlan. So they want all of these items uploaded into iPlan. And that's going to be, if you look at every month's box, there's always something on the bottom that instructs the school to do that. So there'll be a learning curve here. I'm going to be working with Lewis and interacting with schools to support, to make sure that this gets done. And as I said, it's still in draft form. I was told to share it with the DLTs, but it has not been rolled out to schools yet. So schools are not aware of it. And obviously, when we do our SLT training, this will be a prominent part of that training. Dr. Mike, I think I'm done.
Awesome.
And thank you all for your kind attention. If you have any questions or comments that occur to you after the meeting, just implement the superintendent, email the superintendent, and I will get you an answer. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Gus. You just have to stop sharing your screen, Gus.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And that last
you.
part, I'm pretty excited about. It helps streamline the types of things that are going to go into our team minutes, agendas, making sure that they're consistent across our schools. I think having it added to iPlan will be a helpful feature for our buildings to stay really, really focused on improvement plans that they have that they've established collaboratively. So I'm going to turn this over. Eduardo, do you have a high school
Yes,
superintendent's report? Yeah.
Yes, I have a brief presentation. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to share my screen now. Screen 2, share. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Eduardo Duarte. I'm the Family Support Coordinator for Queens North High Schools. Happy to be here in this space sharing news about our district. First of all, I want to share with you is our family forum dates. These are the upcoming dates. They'll be via Zoom from 6 p.m. to 7:30. All the login info will be uploaded to our website by the end of the day today. So I also want to share we hosted the August graduation for our students grads. This is one of my favorite events in the school year because I do volunteer my photography skills for this event and celebrate with the families. It's a wonderful event every year, celebrate our student achievement. And as you can see, everyone was really happy and excited to receive their high school diplomas. Okay, we'll go into the next slide. We hosted a new teacher and assistant principal district date on August 29th. The theme of this was to inspire, empower, and connect. All of our new teachers and assistant principals met district leadership. And this was again held at the UFT offices. We have upcoming community walks. The one that pertains to our particular district will be Flushing High School and Veritas. That will take place Thursday, September 14 at 10 a.m. And as part of New York City Reads Initiative, we will be walking from the high school to the nearest library. And again, I am the Family Support Coordinator for District 25. I look forward in keeping you informed and bringing any concerns to Superintendent Dr. Tu. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that, Eduardo.
All right, I'll stop sharing now. I have so many screens. Here we go. Here we go, stop share. All right.
Okay, thank you for that, Eduardo. Okay, this brings us to a space. Shirley, do you have anything that you'd like to share from the high school?
Okay, so first I'm going to give the mandated agenda item, Citywide High School Subcommittee meeting. This is the first. They usually start in October, but the first meeting for the school year is going to be September 27th
Oh, nice.
That's a Wednesday, but the meetings are usually on a Tuesday. But for this month, they're doing it on on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. So all high school stakeholders are encouraged to be there. It's a citywide. For Queens High School President's Council, our first meeting for the school year is tonight. Our DLT and President's Council meeting is always the same on the same Monday. So I'm gonna give like a brief what of the agenda items. Speakers, we're gonna have the Queensborough President Office Education Director. It's a new person, Gregory Paul. Monica Gutierrez is no longer the Education Director. He's going to introduce himself. We're going to have someone from CEO Scholars to talk about opportunities for high school students, how to do after school programs, also how to do college essays, etc., preparing for college. We're also going to have Office of District Planning to talk about the new high schools and plan that they have for the upcoming new year. And I'm pretty sure CSA is going to come with Office of District Planning as well. For President's Council itself is going to do a PD on expedited elections. And then I think it was just very important to go over to discuss the association bylaws, if they haven't updated the regs as of the new revision of November 18, 2021. If they didn't update their bylaws, they must meet in person. There's a lot, we're no longer in a pandemic. All waivers are done as of June 19th. So everything goes back to like the new normal, I'm going to call it, because it will never go back the way before. And then just SLTs to remind them to open meetings law. They're subject to open meetings law. And again, that's in person unless they update their bylaw. I don't want to confuse people, but it's in person, but they must have a virtual component for observers for the school leadership team. So we're going to review that and answer any questions. Those are the key points for our meeting tonight. And that's it for my update.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shirley. And for Wendy and Rachel, Shirley is a wealth of knowledge. If there's anything that you guys are wondering about, just from the standpoint of all things SLT, DLT, she's always been quite a big support of ours too. So just throwing it out there that she's super knowledgeable about DLT, SLT, guidelines, bylaws, and so on, just so that you're aware of that. Rachel, do you have anything that you want to share just in terms of President's Council? I don't know if we maybe lost her. I'm not sure. And Wendy, do you have anything that you'd like to talk about? I know we have the upcoming CEC meeting. Anything you want to share?
We have the upcoming CEC meeting this Wednesday at 7 p.m. We were hoping that SCA will be presenting at our meeting, but I just received an email from Mr. Goodman that he is unable to come. So I am actually typing up an email to him to see, when he'll be available to come present at a CEC meeting. Also, we will be discussing what topics, what special education topics we want to discuss at our October meeting. So that will be, we hope to decide on that this Wednesday. And we have 2 vacancies on our council. So if anyone of you know any parents interested in getting involved, please have them reach out to Carly, our administrative assistant, or to me. We will send the candidate the application and we'll start reviewing and interviewing applicants. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Wendy. And yeah, one of the nice things about this upcoming meeting and the special education component is that was something that the CEC organized as a collective group and has made it part of their bylaws that special education is part of the meeting space. So the district will certainly be very happy to help in that area this year again. So thank you for that, Wendy. Any new business that anyone needs to bring up?
Could I just briefly say something from DC
Yeah.
37?
Sure, Monique, go ahead.
Okay. So we do know that there is emergency readiness training for our school aides for the implementation of the cameras and the lock doors that are, I don't know if they've already, did District 25 receive the camera installations, and are we locking doors already?
So no, not
know
yet.
it's
We have
going
not
up
had
borough by
installation just
borough.
yet.
Okay, so we know it's going borough by borough. So the first one occurred on September 13th, and I believe that was in Manhattan. So prior to or right after the cameras are installed, there should be training for the school aides to take place when safety agents need to take lunch, use bathroom, or do their sweeps around the area. We're also getting an influx of phone calls from, I represent District 25 and District 28, from our members. Our school secretaries might need a little bit of brush up on what paid family leave is, how to apply for it through SOLAS. I don't know, we're asking that if it's possible to have some of the secretaries retrained. Some of them are not aware of CyberShift, paid family leave, how they work, how our DC 37 members need to apply for leave. And so we're asking that school secretaries, payroll, of course, have more information regarding the steps to do that. And also, I think that is it for D25. I mean, for DC 37. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Monique. Any other new business? Mr. Marino, CSA. Anything?
Hi, everybody. Nothing to bring up at this time. Thank you.
Okay, UFT, Lamar, anything? Did he have to hop off? I think Lamar maybe has hopped off. Okay, everyone. So if there is nothing further, we have
Mike, I
consensus. Oh, go ahead,
I have a suggestion for Shirley. Shirley, when you're at the Queensborough President's office tonight, ask them if they have any money for us to apply for.
Oh, you mean when they attend our meeting tonight? If
Right,
they, if
yeah. Or when they, whatever access you have, the new education liaison, you said you were going to meet with them. Well, let's get it out there right away. If they have a pot of money to apply for any initiatives, let's get moving on it.
well, I know, I know right now that Queens is going to be a primary focus for the School Construction Authority, and to help with the because they know the overcrowding stuff.
Mhm.
The reason why I mentioned that is I once got funds from Helen Marshall to implement science initiatives in Queens. So, I know that in the past it's been possible. Maybe going forward, they might have some discretionary funding that we can apply for.
Absolutely. They've been spending money all last school year too. They like those hydroponic plants, labs and stuff like that. They're pushing for that, but I will definitely ask any specifics for this upcoming school year. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for that, Gus. All right, any other new business? Okay, do we have consensus to adjourn the meeting? Got a thumbs up? Another thumbs up, another thumbs up. Okay, guys, the next meeting date for DLT is, is October 16th, Monday, October 16th, same time. I will be sharing the minutes and all that just prior to next DLT meeting. If you have an opportunity, please give the bylaws and such a look. And if there needs to be any revisions, we can talk about it during that time. But otherwise, everyone have an amazing day. I thank you so much for your attention today, and please feel free, don't hesitate, make sure that you're throwing feedback at me as we go through the year. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good week, everyone.